Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Cory Chapman with my 5-minute wealth tip today. So, we left off last time talking about the Sound Fiscal House approach that we use here at EFC Wealth Management. I discussed in the last video the roof, where most of our risk is held at. Now today I'm going to talk a little bit about the walls. So, if you know anything about our firm, we build our concept around the Sound Fiscal House, which is basically our sales process and our strategy around building wealth. And so now, as we're discussing the walls of your house, what is the walls and how do they work is what I want to discuss a little bit about now. So first and foremost, think about it like this. In retirement, the one thing that everyone needs, I don't care where you're at, what stage you're going through, everyone needs a source of income. Right? Where is your money going to come from? How much money is going to come in on a monthly basis to help you cover your lifestyle? Now, a big chunk of the majority of our clients are blessed enough to have what's called pensions, right? And we'll get into more detail what a pension is, but those pensions allow our clients to be able to have an income stream that they've basically worked for a number of years that now will help offset their living expenses while they're in retirement. That guaranteed source of income is extremely important because it means that you can't outlive that money while you're in retirement. So the walls are designed to have sources that pay us an income stream. That money comes to us in the form of a guaranteed income that will always be there based off of, the type of pension you have. Typically, there will be lifetime payouts. Now, if you're not fortunate enough to have a pension plan, to have that lifetime payout, then we have to create your own personal income stream. Now, the way we go about doing that may be a little bit different than normal because we have to create your own pension plan within the sources of assets that you have. So maybe what we do at that point in time is we may create, and let's say we use an annuity, because if you know anything about pensions, all a pension is an annuity. It's a contract with an insurance carrier that your employer made to put a certain portion of money away into that account, so that way ultimately those funds would be there earmarked for you sometime in the future. So here we have to create your own annuity to allow you to do just that, have a source of income stream that pays you out for the rest of your life. So when we look at our walls, we're looking at vehicles that can generate income. So we use annuities, we may use corporate bonds, we may use dividend paying stocks, things that we know that will pay a cash flow or some sort of income stream to you to help make sure you have enough money to live comfortably in your retirement status. So income, primary factor when it comes to dealing with your walls. Really important for you to understand that there's a source of income that comes in every month, because that's basically where your paycheck comes from, right? So big part of that process. Now, the other thing you want to kind of think about is guaranteed sources of income. Because I have clients always say, well, Cory, what about rental income coming in? Here's my thought about the rental income, and I can use this example because it's just recently happened living here in California. Rental income is good as long as the tenant pays the rent, right? So in California, we just went through what was called a moratorium on income coming from rental properties. For whatever reason, when we went through the whole pandemic, there were several people who weren't paying rents to their landlords. And unfortunately, those clients who were reliant on those rents, guaranteed income coming in from the rental properties, unfortunately, might have been struggling during this time because of the reason that the moratorium was on, where they couldn't necessarily collect rent or could force people out of their properties to evict them while the moratorium was on. So people who were used to getting, their guaranteed paychecks every month from the rental properties that they had no longer were getting income. And unfortunately, several clients that I know of ended up defaulting on some properties and things of that nature, largely because this went on for over a year. So imagine if your primary source of income, oh, look at that house, man, that might be a good buy and tear down. Anyway, the source of income was gone, and now all of a sudden you have no revenue coming into your household, and that's your primary source of income. Well, for me, that's the reason why I say that rental properties are not guaranteed sources of income. And unfortunately, there's too many factors involved with rental properties that may affect your overall planning process. So I say all this to say that when I look for things to go into the roof, things to go into the walls, I'm looking for guaranteed sources of income. And our ultimate goal is to try to make sure that whatever income sources are coming into our client's household, those are guaranteed sources. So we're looking at pensions, Social Security, government disability checks, things like that. Those are things that we can always count on. Annuity payments we can count on. So things of that nature is what we look for when we put your walls together. So remember, when we talk about walls, we're talking about guaranteed sources of income. Not all income is considered guaranteed. Not all income is going to be guaranteed to always be there for you. So let's make sure we make the right choices. Okay, guys. Oh, one last thing. Rate of return on these types of products. Remember, when we look at rate of return on income products, it's not about the rate of return. It's about how much it can pay me on a consistent basis. When we look at growth products like the roof, we're saying I want $1 and I want it to turn to $2, right? When I'm looking for income, I'm saying I have $1 and I want that dollar to pay me 10 cents for the rest of my life. That's income, okay? So it's not about the rate of return. We're not expecting that product to do a big growth or anything like that. We're just looking for it to pay us a check every month consistently without running out. Okay, guys, there we go. That's my thoughts around the walls of the Sound Fiscal House. Be well and blessed. Bye-bye.